Should I get my own soundboard?
I recommend it.
Okay. Hello, Miami. It is Wednesday, May 22nd, 2019, and this is Nothing's Going On, episode 10. I am your host, Rafa. We are starting off a little late because of some technical difficulties, and I am here with the panel of Miamians. To my left, as always, what do I call you? I don't know.
Illustrious.
The illustrious Art Handler is here.
Thank you. Miami, welcome back. Where you been? Probably stuck in traffic.
To his left, new to the show, not new to radio, but new to the show. His name is Blue today. Blue is here.
Biggity Blue sends a salute to you.
Blue, little boy Blue. Okay, whatever.
Well, he needed the money.
Whatever. That's an old dice joke.
Yeah, I love dice.
All right, let's start how we always start, which is let's get our bearings here and discuss some things that happened to us maybe over the past 2 weeks or
the last 2 hours.
Yeah, or the last 2 hours. Well, first of all, we can to the people listening live, we can explain that we showed up to the studio and the studio was all locked up, and then it started raining. And then the cops went by, and we were all like, what the hell is going on here? And we figured it out. Somebody opened the studio for us, and now we're on an hour later.
But your fearless radio crew here, we were determined. We saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and we made it on. And most of you are probably asleep by now anyway.
Yeah, it is kind of late. It's even late for me. I was falling asleep before we even started. And now we're an hour later, so it's what it is.
Rain or shine, Rafa. Rain or shine.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I got a couple things here. God, these are bad. So, I don't know. Andy, you told me a fun story earlier today. You want to talk about that?
Which fun story exactly did I tell you?
That you were in the design district and you saw something?
I see a lot of things at the design district, and
some woman walking by or something.
Oh yeah, there's a number of women that go there just to take pictures of
themselves
basically.
Yeah.
And there's focal points in the district that they go to, and from time to time you just get these extremely non-model like women thinking they're models, but then you get some that are models with a professional crew doing model things.
And they think they're normal women.
Right. And then you get these, shouldn't be models, but they are, because they have very voluptuous extremities or parts of their body.
So what's the actual story, though? What did you actually see?
Well, there's just a lot of skin for a public area, which is always welcoming.
Okay.
But a bit of a shocker nonetheless, because there was titties out and ass out, and it's not your typical...
Do you think they're buying stuff there?
Well, this one lady was in front of the same store, so it seems like almost like they buy a product or a dress or whatever, and they basically stand in front of the store. I think shooting a picture of what they're wearing in front of the label on the store. That seemed to be what was going on. Maybe she'll get picked up as a model. I'm not sure.
Do you guys hang out with anybody who does this kind of stuff?
If I did, I'd kill him. No, absolutely not. But I've been noticing the selfie addiction is worse and worse, and Miami is not immune to it. We're a vain city, aren't we?
Yeah.
A lot of it's about image down here, and I think Design District for sure, and Wynwood now in front of the Wynwood walls. Hey, look how cool I am.
It's almost made for that.
I drove by in 95 the other day. They're shooting a rap video. And you can see the chick strutting and the dude gesticulating.
That's a video, though. That's a little different, right?
But it's all in front. We've done a ton of work in the Wynwood area, and they're always shooting photos of chicks half naked in front of a really kind of cool graffiti wall. And I'm not a big fan of graffiti, but there's some good stuff out there.
So wait. So none of us know anybody
who selfies.
Yeah, who does this kind of stuff? I mean, I guess I know some people.
I mean, every iPhone has the ability to check the selfie album.
Oh, that's interesting.
So we could technically see who has more selfies between the three of us.
Yeah, I don't have an iPhone, so I can't even do that.
There you go. That eliminates
No,
it.
but So design district. There's people out there doing this stuff. I guess it's happening everywhere all the time. You would say
it's the influencer lifestyle.
So
everybody wants to be an influencer.
But here's the thing: I don't hang out with anybody that does that kind of stuff. I guess I actively try to avoid people who would be down to do that kind of stuff.
Of course.
I guess I'm just wondering, like, who are these people? You know, like, who are they?
Vapid, empty people. Who
Are they really vapid, or are they just...
They're easily influenced by what popular culture says is the hip thing now, and there's a lot of that going on, and it's one day it's
Sometimes I think that by shunning the popular culture all the time, you're kind of missing out a little bit.
Sure, you're missing out on some good times, I bet, for sure. You know, I never Tindered or bumbled or whatever that is.
Yeah,
I mean, I've bungled a bunch of things in the past, but the younger nephews of mine and guys who I work with, they're avid Tinder, and that seems to be a thing now.
Okay, we're going all over the place. I don't know what this has to do. I thought maybe we'd get something out of it. I'll tell you something that happened to me today, really the past week, because it's happened to me at 2 places now. And my AC broke. Why do ACs... This is so stupid. Why do air conditioners break right when it starts to get hot? I mean, I guess it's because it has to run a little more.
There's a correlation.
Yeah, but it sucks. I'm going to go home tonight to an apartment with no AC.
You'll live.
I know, of course I'll live.
Open the windows. It's rainy.
That's how he's lived his whole life.
I do it all the time.
Very cool.
In that sense, no problem. But
there's an article written. Go ahead.
And then the AC. Not only that, have you ever looked inside an AC? It's not that complicated a machine. It costs you hundreds of dollars to fix it. And then the guy tells you, why don't you replace this thing?
Of course.
Yeah. How much is it to replace it? Oh, just like $4,000. Don't worry about it. What?
You got an arm and a leg, a couple toes.
That's if you have central. If you have a little unit AC, they probably break less. And number 2, it's cheaper to replace.
Is this at the new apartment?
At the new apartment, at the old apartment, all the ACs broke.
Yeah, it's that time of year.
Well, it's a machine with moving parts, and one of the parts is a compressor. It's working hard to compress air. Over time, those things do burn out. Do they have to burn out? Probably not, but they're built to keep the repairman in business.
When's the last time you guys had AC problems?
We replaced an entire one in our house 3 years ago, and ductwork and everything, and we got central AC.
Yeah,
and we were talking $5,000, man.
Oof.
Yeah, but the house is an icebox now. I want to segue. There was an article written many years ago about how air conditioning transformed the South. That before that, people came home after work and the houses were hot, and they would open the windows to let them cool off and breeze out, and people didn't go in the house. They hung out on the stoop. You know what the stoop is? It's the front porch. Yeah. And they would watch their neighbors walk by. They'd sit in the chairs. They'd say hello. People would come over for pie and drinks, and the kids would play in the street stickball, and it was a much more social time. Air conditioning allowed us to move further and further into the South, into areas that people didn't live, and we lived a shut-in life. And television at about the same time. And nobody was hanging out in the streets anymore. There's a lot of that going on in Miami right now.
You know, it's funny. Do you guys know Dr. Paul George, the historian, the Miami historian?
Excellent guy.
Of course.
Super cool guy. I went to a lecture of his once, though, and I asked him, what was the difference in Miami between AC and no AC? It must have been radical. And he couldn't give me a straight answer. It doesn't get marked in the history of Miami in any type of written context, from what I understand. You know,
I could give you a little insight on that.
Oh, okay.
Because actually, where one of the original Rat Radio shows started was at the Yaley House. Are we allowed to drop names?
Yeah.
So this one of the old original. I mean, I don't know if she was a pioneer of Key Biscayne by any means, but Jean Yaley, who lived on the Key way back when, she was the first person that told me that the way the island worked so well without air conditioning was because nobody had fences. So the breeze, especially the sea breeze that you get on Key Biscayne, you would basically funnel through all the in between the houses.
Sure.
But as people started privatizing their own homes, fences went up, and thus
the breeze kind of went out because everybody had AC.
Well, we got an onshore breeze down here. We're very lucky being by the coast that we've always got an onshore breeze, and that helps. And the old Florida homes the windows were faced kind of east-west with louvered windows, and you would open them up,
Yeah.
and you'd get a little breeze through. And my old neighbor told me, he's like, Benny, I was here, Art, excuse me, I was here before AC, and we'd get a little 5-mile-an-hour breeze, and we'd be like, woohoo, this is something.
That's why the the home design, the jalousie windows were so,
Of
part
course,
part of the
they were
architecture.
instrumental, for sure.
And you build like a high ceiling so you can get the heat off to the top.
And transfer it out and put vents up there, for sure.
And then what about those, you've definitely seen them, those old pictures of the Miami River and stuff, and how people used to dress in the late 1800s, which is basically when Miami started. And they're all in suits, and you think about them down here in those suits all the time, and it must have been brutal.
Every picture of that was taken in February.
Yes.
That's what I think too. All those pictures were taken in February. That's number one, I
No,
think.
but yes and no. Have you ever seen these photos of the guys who are out in the Sahara and they're bundled up big time, and you're thinking,
Yeah.
you're out in the desert. Doesn't
Yeah.
that hurt?
But that's a
different.
dry heat.
That's dry
No,
heat,
but
yeah.
it's an insulation. The outer layers sort of absorb and deflect the direct heat, and it traps a little bit of cooler air in it. And
But we don't. Why don't we do that now?
Well, we've got a lot of humidity down here.
That's what I'm saying. It was never a thing here.
And those suits were woolen. You look back at Deering
Yeah.
and these guys.
Yeah.
Those were woolen suits. Had to be tough. And we didn't have the DEET back then. We didn't have the bug sprays. It had to be tough times.
It had to
man.
be real
Yeah.
rough.
Absolutely.
I gotta say, I'm in the landscape industry, as you guys know, and the guys who do work hardcore all day long, you'll see them in very long sleeve shirts and long pants. And at lunchtime, it's not uncommon for them to have a hot soup for lunch, no problem, and go back into the heat and work all day.
Yeah. No, I've done that many times.
I always thought the long sleeves for the guys working outside was because of the sun, not so much the heat.
Actually, as a fisherman, you start to sweat, and those sleeves get wet, and the back of that shirt gets wet, and sometimes when it's raining, we wear the long pants. It gets wet with sweat, and the breeze comes by. It actually cools you
Yeah,
off.
it keeps you
if
cool.
it's that breathable material. But the roofers, you look at roofers. None of them are in short sleeves. They're all in long pants and long shirts. You sweat into it, and it becomes like a opposite of a wetsuit. It cools, as the breeze goes by. I would have to imagine.
Interesting.
Another little tidbit to deal with the heat and humidity of Miami, as you locals may or may not know, is to basically wake up early and acclimate into the day. So maybe all those guys in suits were acclimating early in the morning, not being in air conditioning.
I did a little acclimating this morning.
I open all my windows every morning because it's just a thing.
There's definitely excess heat when you're in AC and then jump out into the blaring hot sun
Yeah,
at 10
yeah,
a.m.
yeah. I see what you mean by acclimating. Maybe if you're always, if you start your day, it's kind of cool out, and then you just get used to it as it slowly transitions to a hotter, 2 o'clock, and then you kind of deal.
My brother owned a Dairy Queen for many years.
Really? Really? Wait, where?
And Kendall, 107th.
Did you get free Dairy Queen?
I'm not an ice cream guy. I don't like dairy.
They have more stuff there now. I think they sell burgers or something. I don't know. what
Back then they didn't. But he told me that their biggest seasons was around Christmas time in
Oh, of
the
course.
cooler months.
Really?
And he told me, he's like, there's a whole science about it, that ice cream sells more in the wintertime. I know
that is something.
right. Like do hot soups sell more in the summertime down here? I know. I love a hot soup. I'll eat them year round. I don't care. But
That is funny.
Did he sell blizzards?
Can we get this guy on the show, the Dairy Queen guy?
yeah, my big brother, he'll do it.
Tell him he's got to bring blizzards for everybody.
Yeah.
He sold it years ago to the Chinese family. Chinese are very big into ice cream down here in South Florida.
Wait, it wasn't the one on US 1.
That was owned forever by a Chinese
Yeah,
family. And the rumor was they lived upstairs.
Yeah, exactly.
No, and then recently it's been boarded up.
So,
But it's
wait, let's talk about that US 1 Dairy Queen first, just
By
a second.
by
And we'll
Dateland.
get into the news in a second. But
oh wait, because
Yeah.
I've got off the cuff stuff also.
oh, okay, perfect. So, by Dateland, right over that little bridge. I don't even know.
That's the 878.
Yeah, bridge.
That's the number
on
of the
US
canal?
1.
No, that's the expressway.
Right in front of,
the
like,
canal
the-
is C100.
Right in front of the Dateland Metro rail station, there's a Dairy Queen, and for a long time, I'm not sure if it's still owned by that Chinese family, but it was said that they lived upstairs. Now, I could believe it because you've seen that Chinese families will, especially, of course, recent immigrant families, that's what they really are. They will do whatever to get it done, and they'll do that kind of thing.
Tooth and nail.
It must have been real hot up there. That's what, I mean, talking about the heat, that's where all the hot air goes.
Well, you think all that ice cream, but those are inside. They're inside coolers, which have compressors, which are pumping out hot air.
Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that, but
no,
it was always a little piece of trivia that I thought
while
was funny.
we're on Dairy Queen, the Dairy Queen franchisers are like a rare breed, and they all study the selling of ice cream in South Florida, they know it. They know it in and out. I know because my brother owned one, managed another, worked for a guy who owned a few.
But is there like an accredited university or something they study?
They knew.
Study,
everybody knew about the Chinese family there on US 1. They were like an outlier because they were one of the most successful in Dade County, and the ones that were in the strip malls turned out never did well. And I had a buddy that was like a high school stoner dropout, and when I was in high school, I bumped into him 20 years later at a party, and I was like, "Oh my God, don't I know you?" And we got into a talk, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I do this studying and research for Dairy Queen." I was like, "You're kidding me." My brother was a Dairy Queen guy. He's like, "Yeah, he wants to kill me." And we had this long talk, and he's like, basically got down to it. The Chinese family is the most successful one in Dade County, and it's because they're not in a strip mall. Well, our research shows that the ones that are in the strip malls don't do well, but the ones that are by themselves do very well. And that one had the worst parking. It was totally inaccessible.
But it was
you had to make a U-turn to get to it on US 1.
Yeah, small little window.
A tiny little window, and they killed it.
But it was very iconic looking. You couldn't miss it going down the street.
It's almost like it was like a destination for the family.
So for some reason, I don't know, maybe I can call that guy Strawberry if you're out there.
So what's your off the cuff before we move on?
Off the cuff, I got a friend come in from New York and today, and she landed.
Is this an elevator story? Okay, keep going.
Wait a minute. What's the tram that at the airport? Is that in the same vein?
Okay.
Anyway, she was in the conveyor or something at the airport going to baggage claim, and she's with a bunch of Japanese tourists who are talking about what they want to do in Miami, and there was an American guy in the tram with them or something who said, "There's nothing going on in Miami." And my friend quickly turned around and said, "Do you listen to that show too?" True story. I just got told it. The flip side was, you know how they load the planes. Recently in the last few years, it's been by zone. It's okay. Group 1.
Oh of course.
You're allowed to. So they realized that this was a real big problem. So they switched it now, and they called it, basic class, priority class. They decided to change the names, but it's still the same system, and everybody bunches up and lets nobody through. And so my friend goes up to the guy who's calling it out when it's almost her turn and says, "Hey, is it always this much of a problem?" He goes, "No, never, anywhere. Except Miami. Miami's always a huge problem."
Speaking of that, wasn't there an airline that tried to pack the people in like from the back first? And
you have to pack them into the back first.
I know, but there was that first class sit, and then business.
You let first class in because the first class people know how to do first class. They get in, they sit down, and they got the nice chairs. And then to pack the rest of the plane, you got to pack from the back forward. It's like pouring a beer. If you try and pour a beer all at once, you're going to foam up and bleed out into the terminal. You got to pour it slowly, from the back, so that you fill up the back and work your way up.
So, is there any hope for the airports in Miami to have less people crowding the doors? I mean, that's
maybe with more beer. I don't know.
I always check my bag so I don't have that rush of trying to get into the plane like some other people do. For a long time, I was like, why are you guys in a rush to get on the plane? We're all leaving at the same time. You know what I mean?
You got to get the overhead storage.
You got to get the overhead storage.
Well,
you're a young single guy.
But I just wait till the end. Yeah.
If you travel with kids, you need comic books and iPads and snacks,
Okay, let's move on. It is Wednesday, May 22nd, 2019. This is Nothing's Going On, episode 10. Subscribe to the show.
10?
Yeah, 10. We did 10 finally.
It's an anniversary.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. I want to thank Jolt for hosting us. If you're listening on Jolt right now, thank you.
Shout out to Dr. Paul George.
The Instagram is not working today, but we got some other stuff. So let's go to the news, and you guys can tell me what you think of this. I'm going to get into something that I've never talked about here, which is kind of political, but it's kind of just funny.
Oh, I thought we said we
know-
weren't going to do political.
Well, it involves a politician, but it's not really political.
But South Florida.
Yeah, Miami. City
even
of Miami.
better.
Okay.
Bring it on, dale.
So there's a City of Miami commissioner. His name is Joe Carollo. You guys know who that is?
Joltin' Joe, yeah.
So this guy...
he was the mayor.
Yeah, this guy is very famous for being a very contentious dude.
He threw a tee box at his wife, hit her in the head, and the daughter called the cops on him. Ruined his career. I guess not.
No, he's still a commissioner, okay, for
that was when he was mayor.
District 3. Anyway, this guy
Like
has
a box of
Yeah, he was a
tea
boxer.
bags?
He was a boxer, too.
so he's a... Wait, he was? I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
Didn't he get pulled over also in Key West, drunk on a motorcycle? Or is-
No, I don't think so.
No, that was somebody else. Okay. Anyway, let's not... This guy has had a beef with this other guy, Fuller, who owns Ball and Chain, and he's been redeveloping Little Havana. Okay? Big beef. He just hates it for some reason. He is the commissioner for Little Havana, and he's done everything he can to try and screw this guy over, the Ball and Chain guy. I don't know why it is. I don't know what his motivation is. I don't know if it's that he thinks that his constituents don't want the gentrification of Little Havana or what. But one of the things he's been doing is that he's been calling out code violations at all this guy's restaurants and properties, like constantly, to the point where he got in trouble because as a commissioner, you're not allowed to tell the code enforcement guys, like, hey, I have a specific code enforcement violation for you guys. You guys need to act on it. You're not allowed to do that as a commissioner because
He's old school muscling.
Because because you're like targeting people, you know.
Of course.
So there was allegations of him doing that. He was definitely going over to the properties and saying these are code violations, whatever, and just hassling this guy constantly. This guy is the guy who put on Viernes Cultural in Little Havana, that kind of thing. The guy who owns Ball and Chain, he started that kind of thing, or he had a hand in it.
He has the ice cream store, Azúcar.
And so Joe Carollo, through the City of Miami, started their own Friday night thing in Little Havana, and they told Viernes Cultural, you can't do it anymore. Like, that's another thing that he did. Like, oh, you got to move it to another day because we're doing it now at the same time that you're doing
Vindictive,
it. You know? Yeah.
dirty,
Yeah.
street fighting politics.
Yes, exactly.
That's Joltin' Joe.
Okay, so 2 weeks ago, this guy that owns these properties and does all this stuff, and you know what? I'm kind of like, I don't really like... I mean, I like some of it, but I don't like that this guy owns so much of Little Havana. It's kind of sketchy to me, like that one guy wants to do so much. But anyway, this guy comes out in a press conference. He's like, I've been stalking Joe Carollo. I'm using his tactics against him, not in those words. He's like, he owns this house on 37th in the Grove, and we have Google Maps, like old photos and new photos, and we have drone footage. This guy's been remodeling his home with no permits for the past, I don't know how many years. He's got all these before and after photos of the commissioner's house, and he just exposes them, you know, like that.
But you call him commissioner.
Yeah.
He was mayor.
Well, maybe it was
He's better known as mayor before his career was torpedoed by his throwing something at his wife.
Well, now he's commissioner.
And his career was destroyed. No, we really need to talk about this. His career was destroyed by abusing his spouse, and the daughter called him out on it. And his career was wrecked, and he's trying to resurrect it. The guy's got delusions of grandeur. He wants to be somebody big. He's a street fighter.
Well, he's still there on the commission, and now he's got this problem, and he's fighting this guy who's redeveloping the place, and now this guy called him out for...
He's 20 years ago, man, and he doesn't know it.
Let me ask you something. How can you, as a damn commissioner, go out there and tell people you are, in violation of this and this and this and this without covering your own ass beforehand. Is that the epitome of stupid?
The hypocrisy knows no bounds. But you're right. If you or I were to do it, wouldn't we clean up our own backyard before we start doing that? That's Jesus, man.
That is some shit. It takes a certain like attitude or
chutzpah is what we say in my people.
That's something, huh? I don't know.
Yeah, Carollo, bro. He's got a hell of a storied career. I actually met him one night many years ago at the Miami Art Museum when I was a lowly art handler there.
Oh.
And he used to come to the big openings with his entire entourage. And I had balls enough one night and enough rum in me, and I'm trying to impress my girlfriend, who's now my old lady for many years. And I walked right up to him, and I said, "Hi, I'm nobody, but this city's really aching for some public transportation, and you guys really need to get off your butts and do something about it. When can we expect it?" And he looked at me, and then he looked to his left to one of his aides, and didn't say anything, but the look was, take care of this guy. And this aide came up and says, "That's a great point. Let's go talk about this over here." And pulled me off to the side. And like a dummy, I'm thinking, I'm going to talk to the aide of the mayor, while the mayor ran off and shook more hands, and I was neutralized. Kudos there, Joe. You did it, you know. He's washed up.
What were you hoping for that time of year?
Back then, I didn't have a vehicle, and back then I was getting around, by getting to work by bus and train, which was a nightmare. And I understand that's a state thing, and it's really a county and a state thing. A city mayor, even a city like Miami, which wants to be a big city, doesn't really have that much sway in that. But in the end, I thought, I got to use my voice, man. I got to talk to an elected official.
I got him right here. I got
him. I got to talk to somebody and say, hey, let's clean this up. The traffic sucks, and I ride the bus and the train, and we need it to be better. We need that train. We need that train to go east-west. West to FIU, east to the beach.
Yeah.
That's a topic for another show,
yeah.
But the beach don't want it.
Okay, so Joe over here will lead us to our next thing because he was the biggest opponent of Ultra in Miami, in the city of Miami. And he's still an opponent of it. Ultra, which did Virginia Key this year, then came out and said, we are out of here, told the city of Miami, you know what? The city of Miami was about to vote for Ultra again. They were like, we love Ultra. Lots of money here. We don't care what anybody says. We don't care if the neighbors are upset. We're going to vote for Ultra again. The day before they were about to vote for it, Ultra sends a letter, and they say, we're out of here. We don't like Virginia Key. We found something better. Don't worry about us. We're out of here, right?
That Ultra, they can, on time, pick the exact date to send that letter.
Yeah.
Took them months to pay lowly people like me who worked for them. I got a buddy who runs the water taxis. They owe him $500,000. They still haven't paid him.
Oh.
Retired cops, City of Miami and City of Miami Beach, who ran the logistics and the security for them, they still haven't paid. A local company, Dock and Marine, who was on Channel 7 News recently saying that Ultra didn't pay them. They built the marina. They built the VIP docks, floating docks for them.
Still haven't paid.
Ultra didn't pay.
Ooh.
And here's about Ultra, and I hope you're listening, Ultra. Everybody knows you get your ticket money in advance.
Yeah.
You got the dough. And they issued a letter. Well, we're having some money flow problems. We're hoping to pay by May. The event was back in March.
Yeah.
Deadbeats.
Oh.
Deadbeats. They got shows all over the world.
So wait.
And they're deadbeats.
So wait, okay.
And now they say what they're going to do is they're going to try and do it at FIU, at the fairgrounds. No, that didn't work out. Oh, we're going to take it out of Miami. We're going to go to L.A. Yeah, right. Who's going to come to the South Florida from Latin America and Europe? We're the place. That's why Basel's here. Europe, North America, Caribbean, and Latin America. The meeting place is Miami. The weather's good.
Yeah.
So now they're like, no, we're going to do it in Homestead, maybe at the Raceway. They don't got the infrastructure.
So
they don't got the hotels.
Yeah. So
you're going to Uber down in
No, that's not going to work. That's not.
They're dummies, man.
It'll be like Burning Man.
So what's funny is that maybe that's Ultra's playing that game right now. We're not sure. They sent a letter that said, we're in the process of securing a new spot that's going to be amazing for Ultra. Blah 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 blah.
Joe Robbie Stadium.
Now all the cities are scrambling to invite Ultra back. So Homestead this week passed some kind of ordinance or something that extends events at the motorway until 2 a.m. so that you can host Ultra. Okay. Miami Beach put it on their agenda to extend the invitation to Ultra at Loomis Park.
We heard about it.
Beach.
It's impossible that Miami Beach is going to want them.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
So that's crazy. And then now City of Miami, who lost it, was quickly scrambling to say, where can we find a place for Ultra that they will like? Going back to downtown, which was one of the, they're talking downtown, even though nobody in downtown, the reason they went to Virginia Key was because everybody hated downtown. So
Remind me how much the contract is?
the contract is $2 million officially, like official, just money in hand.
But it's nothing in comparison to what they bring into the hotels and, and the Ubers and the restaurants and the
the cops overtime, like everything. There's just like a lot of money that comes with it.
But when Miami loses the Ultra contract, they lose how much money?
They lose $2 million a year, or maybe a little more, but
on paper.
Yeah, on paper.
But the financial impact is 10 times that.
Yeah,
at least.
It's like $100 million impact for the county. For the county, right. For the county. For City of Miami, I couldn't break it down that easily, but they make a lot of money, and it affects a lot of businesses, everything. I mean, it's a big part of any city's and it's 2 days, so. With 2 weeks prep and 2 days actually happening.
Actually, it's three nights. It's Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night, which has always prompted me to ask, who are these people that don't work on Monday? Because it's not ever on a 3-day weekend,
Yeah,
it's during spring break.
It's a
it's like the end of spring break, I guess, but the Sunday night is also one of the nights, man.
Yeah, that's true.
I think I got a little audio clip here.
You probably got. It's probably different. I mean, probably less people go on Sunday. Friday and Saturdays are the bangers. What do you? You took too long to cue this up. Okay, next.
Sorry, I'm terrible about
Artie,
that.
while you look for it, you were at Ultra. Was there a change in style or genre of music between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
They have 2 stages.
The same stage.
One they call the world
weekend.
stage, and the other is the main stage. The main stage is EDM, which is electronic dance music. It took me a while to figure that out. The world stage is what they call house, from what I understand, which is like a lot more hip hoppy.
Not tiki tiki.
I don't know. I don't listen to this stuff.
It's less intense.
I worked it because I worked the boat and I controlled the traffic coming in and out. And when I had to spend time on the docks, I actually went and I bought earplugs.
Yeah, smart.
And I don't mean like the little ones. I mean the real deal aircraft working guys. Earplugs.
So wait, no. There's also, at least this year, because Virginia Key is so expansive. Oh, that's what it sounded like.
That's what it sounded like till 3 a.m.
Well, that sounds horrible. Okay, take it off.
Yeah, that's the world stage. Man.
Okay,
How many people do you think are smacking their foreheads thinking that we don't know what EDM is?
Nobody, because nobody's listening. The other side of Virginia Key is little tiny. No, it's not little tiny. They had a separate area there for more underground acts and stuff like that, and it gave them more.
That's right. There was another
indie vibe. So the really popular stuff was at the Marine Stadium, and then you could walk to this other area where all the experimental and new things that aren't so popular were.
The complaint was it was a 30-minute walk.
Yeah,
but then these zombies at 3 o'clock in the morning didn't want to wait for their bus or their Uber, and they marched across the causeway.
I'm tired of Ultra. We'll talk about it next year when it comes back. We'll see where it happens.
In Homestead.
All right. On that, it's Wednesday, May 22nd, 2019. Nothing's going on. Episode 10. I want to give a shout out to Junior, who might be one of our longest listening fans. I'm not sure if he's listening now, but he was listening a little earlier. And he was a little disappointed that we started so late. I was too, bud. Okay, let me tell you something. This is one of the dumbest things, but it got picked up by like every news publication. They feed off this crap. Some website, I forgot what it was. It was some stupid website who makes lists or something. They said that the Miami accent was voted 13th sexiest in the nation.
What?
Okay, and then the Herald had like a little odd, like offbeat piece on it, and the New Times I think had a piece on it. All of everything I checked.
Are there 13 accents in the nation?
Oh man, they had a list of 40 accents. They just went.
40.
They just this. The whole point of this article was to get picked up in every city and say, "Oh look, we are number whatever."
There's like a Latina accent. There's a country accent. There's a northeast accent.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
Okay, don't play me every single sound clip you have in one go, please, because that's a little much.
No, but seriously, how many accents are there in the country? 'Cause half of them are Valley Girl.
So they were talking Miami, Florida, Texas, Boston, New York.
Those are
Brooklyn.
states, though.
What do you mean?
It's not each state has an accent.
Well, so they have a
No,
twang, I
there's
guess.
regional thing.
Traditionally there was an old Miami accent
Yeah.
back in the days of my
Yeah,
grandfather.
yeah.
When my dad was a kid.
Miami, I get it.
Miami,
The good old boys.
right? You didn't say Miami; it was Miami, and there was a white accent from down here, and it was different from the southern accent. Didn't have a drawl, and it was very Miami. But it doesn't exist anymore.
That's surely not the accent that was on the list.
Nobody under 50 years old would know anything about the Miami accent.
Well, now the Miami accent, one of the signature parts of this accent, which I don't think anybody here has. I mean, we all have it a little bit, but we don't totally have it.
Like?
Yeah. Okay, a little bit like that. It also said we pronounce the L in salmon. I don't, but I guess a lot of people say salmon.
That's on the...
I've never heard that.
You never heard it?
Anybody here saying that? I say, what
one's
the
here
hell's
saying
wrong with
salmon.
You guys haven't
Salmon.
seen the YouTube, the Shit Miami Girls?
Yeah, the
video?
shit Miami girls say. They all. You haven't seen that?
Salmon.
Oh, you need to hear that because it's exactly the
It's
Miami.
a big joke on the video.
One thing that I do that's very Miami is say no as a question. So
Oh, no, I do that.
yeah,
Shouldn't we do this? No.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Common
Yeah,
sense.
no, and I do that, and I'm a white guy.
Yeah,
And but I was born and raised here.
that's a very Miami thing. That comes
no
from
problem
Spanish.
No problem with it. Well, of course,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, I like that. That I think is kind of endearing to.
But that's
the
not
thing.
an accent. That's colloquialism. Actually.
I suppose it is. Yeah, and so would salmon be a colloquialism, but the accent I suppose is.
If we had to say that there was an accent
I
down
can't do
here,
it right
it's like mang.
It's like, yeah. Hey bro.
Vamos a lunchear,
hey, bro.
man.
Hey bro.
¿Dónde te vas a parquear, man?
We sound ridiculous. We all sound ridiculous. Well,
Yeah,
Andy hasn't done it yet.
No one's doing justice, but that's like sort of the South American.
I think we all have a bit of
No,
it.
there's a Miami language down here that if you're somewhat multicultural, which we've talked about before in this show, that if you live it and you don't talk about it, and you got people and you know how to say colada, and you know how to say que te pasa, man, or que bola, or acere, and you can also say some words in English. You're getting
You get by.
Uh,
You're getting an edge on it, right? But
Dale.
Dale for sure. Dale,
Dale.
bro. Dale is very Miami.
Yeah. So, anyway, 13th sexiest in the nation. Made absolutely no sense because it.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Who are
it's
the other
definitely not a
12?
Sexy accent.
Who are the 12 above us? Because I got to imagine it ain't New York.
Texas is number one.
No way, man.
Texas is
Texas?
understandable.
Yeah.
Texas is understandable.
Get
But what the rest of the country sort of speaks the same Valley Girl, besides some dirty Mainer from the Northeast that speaks really raunchy and rough and
I think every city has, not every city, but a lot of areas of the country have people who either speak more like us, which is like a radio guy who speaks the same everywhere in the whole country, or like a more rooted person that doesn't, that.
How do they do this show in other cities? How does this show sound in other cities?
I mean, I imagine it sounds the same. Actually, there's a show on here on Jolt Radio. You guys should check it out. It's every Thursday, and it is called what is it called? Love
Me
Love
Tender?
Hour?
Love fuck.
God, I'm the worst.
Power Love Hour.
That's no, it's not the Power Love Hour. But let me look it up. Hold on a second. I'm so bad at promoting this stuff.
This is terrible radio.
The show's actually pretty good.
The Power Love Hour, dude.
Can I play some sound drops in the meantime?
Sorry. It's called Ladies Love Radio, and they come in here and they just talk shit off the cuff most of the time, but they are very Miami. And if you listen to that show, you know, that is your sexy Miami accent right there. Ladies Love on Thursdays on Jolt Radio.
The closest I can think of, do you remember that song a few years back, Chongalicious?
Yeah. That
That's
kind of
about that would be more the Miami accent that I can think of it. Heavily Latin with a lot of like Hialeah slang, you know. That's the closest I could think of to a current Miami accent.
You just reminded me of something, and we're about to switch, but I'm going to tell you guys and tell the listeners. There's a video on YouTube. It was part of Borscht Film Festival a while ago. It's 10 minutes called Miami 1996. Have you seen it? It's an old party video, or it looks like one. It's an old party video from Miami, and you watch that video, it feels like you're in Miami in 1996. It's like 10 minutes long. Miami 1996 on YouTube.
What was
on
that
YouTube.
blue gum that everybody used to chew on at dance parties in 1996?
Blue gum?
Aqua. I mean, just the smell and taste of cigarettes, and then popping one of these things, and everybody was chewing this blue gum. Aqua something? No, doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, I don't know. That's
it's like I got a whiff of it.
Aqua. 96. I was already settled down. I wasn't doing parties no more.
Oh man, that's sad. Okay.
96. We're just getting started. I'm an 83 baby, so.
You were born in 83?
I was born in 83.
Jesus.
All right. Last thing here. So you know how we have those red light cameras, right? Do you guys have strong opinions on those stupid things? Or
I thought
no?
they threw
blow.
I thought
Okay,
they threw them
that's
all
funny.
away.
No,
Yeah, they blow.
only in certain parts, in certain cities. So
Oh,
city
I
of
see.
Miami got rid of them, but in the county they still exist in some places.
Oh, that's
Right.
good to know.
No, and they still exist in a lot of areas. No, in the city of Miami, I got one less than a year ago.
Yeah, I think they got rid of
I
them.
thought they
after that.
passed a law saying that they couldn't have those.
They
No,
showed
they did
showed
not.
me a picture of me entering the intersection when the light was yellow, and they showed me in the intersection when the light was red, meaning like you passed through it as it was.
Well, I thought the issue
Right.
was that they didn't know it's you driving. It's your car, and they send the car the ticket. But
They
because they,
sent the
can't,
ticket to my car.
right, but
Yeah.
because they don't know who was driving, they canceled that whole
Yeah,
operation.
it's,
No, that's not true. They
Everybody just disputes it. And
they're
then they
they're,
cancel.
they're huge money makers.
It's a very the reason some of the cities are canceling them is because their own residents are the ones who are running them the most, and the residents are pissed that they
course.
they want to keep running the red lights.
My old man lives in Pinecrest, and he got pissed that he drives a hot rod, and he kept getting pulled over by the cops there. He's like, I live here. And they gave him a ticket. And I think he complained. He barked all the way up. Good for...
So
yeah, exactly, man.
So those red light cameras, number one, well, let me tell you about this one red light camera. This is pretty good. It's at Dolphin Mall, and it's one of these lanes. It's a right turn on red lane kind of thing. Okay.
Okay.
right
Turn on red.
Yeah.
But the lines are even drawn like if it's a continuous lane.
Oh.
Okay? So people are going through that red light and rolling it every single time. If you roll through the red light, even if you slow down, you still get your red light ticket unless you come all the way to a complete stop before making your legal right turn. This camera, since this thing has been started, I don't know how many years ago the red light cameras went up, but it's busted over 30,000 people.
Times what? Times 20?
This one camera. These are people pulling into Dolphin Mall.
You do the best investigation. I got to be honest. Where do you get this material? This is awesome.
Is that?
And I've been to that dolphin mall, and I probably rolled through that line.
Oh wait, $30,000.
No, 30,000 people.
30,000 people.
30,000 people. The average fine is like $168.
Oh wow, so that's what I'm saying.
I mean, what are we talking here? 30,000 times 168. I grew up in Dade County. I can't do that math, but I'm imagining that's like trillions of dollars.
That's millions of
30,000
dollars.
times what? 115.
168.
168 is the average.
168 equals $5,040,000.
These red light cameras are cash cows for the municipalities. They don't want to get rid of them.
I'm
but
pretty
there's
sure
citizens who are like, this is BS.
I'm almost positive I read how there was like a scrap with the guy with the company who installed them all, and then they're like, they just said fuck it. Like,
no, man, but they're per city. So City of Miami has them. Doral, who owns this one, has
They still
or
they had a thing
Sweetwater,
some years back, and this is not anecdote. They had a thing some years back where a guy got a ticket. He rolled through, and generally they show the photograph, and oftentimes they show the photograph front and back. And the guy's ticket showed up at the house. The wife opened it, and it wasn't
passenger.
It wasn't her in the passenger seat. And so the guy fought it, of course, going through divorce proceedings, and fought it, saying this is unconstitutional. This is an invasion of privacy. You can't be shooting me on the roads like this. Look at what you've done to me, because he had his girlfriend in the passenger seat. Right,
Ruined his life.
I mean, that could have been her girlfriend or something.
Listen, if you're like me, I pass through the 836 several times a day. Sometimes.
Put the visor down.
No, but I will.
The,
I will now. That's a
put,
great idea.
You gotta put the visor down every time.
They didn't send me a thing for many years. I got a boat, and I can't find the trailer tongue many times until I hit it. So I've smashed I've smashed my license plate so many times that one time a cop pulled me over and he says, "What's with the license plate?" And I said,
"You're obviously not a boater." I
was like, "Well, I'm finding the boat trailer." And he's like, "Get that fixed." I was like, "Okay," but he was cool. Right. Well, I never bought a Sun Pass. I didn't want the government tracking me, except on my iPhone, right? Yeah. And so I never bought a Sun Pass, and so I always got the letters in the mail, and it was like a
toll by plane,
$35 here.
I'll pay the extra $1.75 for not being tracked.
About 6 months ago, I stopped getting them, and I thought to myself, "Wow, I hit the trailer perfectly."
Oh, no, but this is when the Sun Pass had the errors. That's what happened. They had a whole...
Yeah,
I thought to myself, "Oh, man, I'm doing great. I finally hit the license plate in the right the wrinkle that they can't read it, and I'm going through, and they're not sending me anything." Well, I swear to God, I should have brought it into the show. After months, and I mean months, I finally get a Sun Pass bill, and I was like, "Oh, this has been a long time." I opened up; it's like $356.
That's backlogged.
Yeah, it was backlogged.
Yeah, the system.
No, and this is so. I've got a friend from Jersey who used to be a road worker, and he says this is all BS. The Turnpike paid for itself many years ago.
Yeah, no shit.
All these other toll roads paid for themselves with the tax money that had them built. And what they did is the county or the state, in the case of the Turnpike, turned it over to private entities who says, "We'll run it. We'll keep the paint on it and the asphalt on it and the enforcement on it, and we'll collect the tolls." Yeah. And they increased the tolls.
Yeah.
And then now we've got tolls everywhere.
That's a different story, though. Let's get back to the red light cameras, because that story of the tolls, and there's a fight right now between who's going to get the money in the tolls, and is the city going to take it, or the FDOT, is the Florida Department of Transport, going to take it?
Or MDX, my friends.
I don't have notes about that, but I do have notes about 30,000 people at one light in Doral getting red light camera tickets. You know what I want to say about red light cameras? I'm kind of in favor of red light cameras. I am in favor of the cameras, and I'll tell you why. The only thing I'm not in favor of is not having them labeled. I think anywhere there's a red light camera, there should be a sign that shows a camera and says, like, you're about to, be in the zone of a red light camera. It'll make...
Doesn't the phone tell you that now? The guys I ride with, they like red light camera reported ahead.
If you want that, you can get it. I want it more for The idea to me is to stop people from running red lights,
Just so
right?
you know, there's like 50 yards before the camera, it'll say red light camera ahead.
Not everywhere.
You
I
seem
think it's
to
by
be
law it has to be up because
No.
it says it. It'll say it way in advance, but it'll be there.
Not everywhere. Definitely not.
you seem to be one of these Big Brother types.
No. I don't want anybody to get caught by the damn camera, but I think that they work in the sense that if you tell people there's a red light camera, I'd almost just be in favor of putting signs that say
My
there's
friend,
was
was red light running really that much of a problem?
It was.
Clearly.
No,
Hell yeah.
it was not. Get
Hell
the
yeah.
hell out of here, both
Dude,
of you guys.
the people-
I'll run this show myself.
In this town, everybody would run the yellow light until those cameras came up, and then you'd see
But the
people
yellow light means floor it, man. You're allowed to run the yellow.
slamming their brakes.
You're still allowed to run the yellow. You just
Of
can't run the
course.
red.
No, I know, but people not wanting to get a ticket would slam their brakes at almost like at a
Yeah.
dangerous level at yellow to
No,
to not
or
get the
also,
You know what
I'm not going to point out any cultural group here in Miami because they know who they are. Figured out, and they ran a big scam for many years, and they're still doing it. They know if they get hit from behind, they can immediately claim $10,000. It's in your insurance. It's in the PIP.
No shit.
Yes, and the PDP. Everyone by law down here is supposed to carry PIP and PDP, which is personal injury protection and personal or property damage protection. And if you accidentally hit somebody from behind, the guy in front, if he's savvy and he's smart, he can immediately claim and have an ambulance come and pick him up and say that he was smashed up and his car was messed up. They can immediately sue for $10,000 and get it. The insurance companies
that.
fork it over.
Okay. What's this? I don't. Hold on.
Not worth
Take
it.
me back. I don't know how we got to suing somebody for.
Well, we were
frivolous
talking
claims,
about
but-
slamming your brakes too
Yeah,
fast
yeah.
on a yellow light
Okay.
and,
So
getting smashed.
I think that if we just put up signs that said red light cameras here, that would be enough for me. It'll stop people from running the red lights because they'll see the sign and they'll think, shit, I don't want to get a ticket. And that's it. That's all you really need. Now, the reason they don't do that is because what they really want is the money. They don't care,
Right.
if you run a...
No,
Which is
what
why they put the sign so
I'm in
far
disagreement
back.
with you. What they really want is they want another London. And London has cameras in every intersection. It's the most surveilled city
No, I don't
in
think
the,
so.
in the world.
No, I don't think
No,
it's that.
no, we're not above that here. I disagree with you.
I think we
respectfully.
are not above that here, but I don't think that's the implementation for that. The
Of
Sun Pass
course.
is much more the implementation for that.
You don't implement these things.
A red light camera is not going to catch 90% of the people. Only the 10% assholes
Yeah.
are going to
No,
run
you
it.
do-
you know?
don't implement these programs a yard at a time. You do it
Yeah.
an inch at a time.
Yeah,
and what'll happen is,
Dude, I'm the most fucking Big Brother guy out there, and this
I
is
don't
just not
believe-
how it works.
I don't
This is
believe
not how
it.
it works. It works through your phone. Number one,
Yeah,
that's
true.
why I block every outgoing connection on my phone.
Oh,
and
they
it
still
doesn't-
got you.
Of course, they still got you.
You got Siri on that thing.
No, of course not. I blocked all that kind of stuff. but either way,
Wait a minute.
The red light cameras
is
are not.
is there tape on that camera on this thing? No.
Yeah.
No
it-
tape. They're watching them. They're
Yeah.
watching us, guys. I'm running out of here.
So anyway, long story short, if you just put up signs that said no, that a red light camera was there, it would work just as effectively as
I'm
having
telling
the red
you,
light camera.
When next time you see a red light camera, just start focusing about 100 yards before the intersection.
There is.
I
a sign.
respect you, but I disagree that.
I'd also be in favor of radar speed tickets. You know that? Like, like just a little box on the side of the road that if you go 10
No.
if you go 10
it
miles over,
automatically hits your credit card.
it just it automatically sends you a ticket. Like here's your license
Listen,
plate.
Why would
and
you
here's
be
the thing.
for that?
Go to hell
Because-
and call me best.
Because I don't want people speeding, and so
you don't want.
Fuck,
I speed all
I
over
know.
the joint.
I know
I speed for
everybody in
I have
Miami does.
5 miles of speeding.
I mean,
Are you
ultimately,
kidding me?
it goes
I'm
back
gonna
to
speed on the way home
ultimately
tonight.
it goes back to a very Miami attitude that is, we want to break the rules all
This
the
is my
goddamn
road.
time.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we want to break the
absolutely.
rules the whole time.
It's like Jimbo's. This is the last outpost of lawlessness.
Yeah, but
We-
here's the thing: once you get the rules in, then people actually fight to make the rules
who
decent.
makes who makes the rules and who enforces them?
Joe Carollo.
Yeah, exactly. Right,
the
right, my friend.
The essence of Miami driving was found one day by me in traffic in a car in front of me, and the license plate. He had a vanity plate, and his license plate said "Me first."
I love that.
And that's like
I
the
love that
essence
guy.
of Miami driving. Me first.
Slim, if you're listening, I got a Jersey transplant buddy, and he can't. He's been here, and he married a Cuban girl, and he's a Jersey Italian white guy. Oh, that's kind of an oxymoron, right? And he's been here for 1,000,000 years, and he still can't get over how people drive down here. And he's constantly complaining, and he's wishing stomach cancer on people who break the law.
Oh, you get used to it.
No. There's
Totally.
one rule, and I was hoping we could touch upon this subject on the radio because for me. I don't think I have pet peeves, but if there was one, it would be the traffic in Miami. It's not that I drive just as poorly as everybody else, but I think people need to understand you do not. And there's one rule in driving in Miami in general, but in Miami in particular, is just do not impede traffic. Do not slow the traffic behind you down.
100% agreement.
Do not.
Ooh, I like that rule.
Do not be the guy who drives slow in the left lane. Do not be the police officer who was at a crime scene 4 hours earlier, and you're just lingering, blocking the road.
Still got his lights on, and
Still lights on. There's no scene.
And
You're
I'm going to
impeding
add to that.
traffic.
If you pull up to where there's like one of these strip mall exits onto the street, if you're in the main lane, don't block it. Let those people out.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of those cross streets with no lights where we block them in rush
it's called
hour.
gridlock.
Right. You got to leave those open,
Right.
and you got to let those people exit and move.
By staying there, you're impeding traffic. You're not letting traffic move.
Totally,
so you're doing,
100%.
You're doing a big no-no.
Hey, you and I could run a campaign, man. Let's talk after the show.
I'm ready. No, it's really the one thing that if people, and the good thing, and I have to say, like, shout out to FDOT or whoever it is behind those billboards on the highway, which give a little PSA. Like, don't put your blinkers on when it's raining.
Oh,
don't put your hazards
They
on.
finally have something like that?
Yeah, no,
a
it's all
campaign
over-
like
no,
that?
It's fantastic. I mean, between the road rangers.
They should say you are a fucking idiot. Don't put your blinkers.
Truth is your blinkers is if you are a hazard.
Sorry.
Meaning you're broken down on the side of the road and you need people to avoid you.
I said
Yes.
blinkers.
You
but
don't do it
right.
because it's you
Well-
can't see.
Yeah.
Well, no, the problem.
If you can't see, pull over.
The problem
And
is.
then put them on.
The problem is that people think they're being a good Samaritan by putting their hazards on and letting everybody know that there's a hazardous
Right.
situation, but it's not like. What happens when you want to change lanes? Your blinker no longer works. 'cause
Is
your
there
hazard's
another
on.
show that we can do about
Just assholes and
Traffic. Yeah.
traffic talk.
traffic talk?
There's a very good show out there in Radioland called This American Life.
On NPR?
Yeah. I don't listen to it all the time. but-
National Propaganda Radio?
Sure, bud. So I listened to an episode maybe, it must be like 3-4 years ago, where this woman comes on. She's maybe the mother of one of the people who was on the show, and she has these like 7 tips for things you don't talk about at dinner parties. And one of the things was traffic talk. And I always think about that when we're on this show talking about
Fuck
traffic.
that. Talk
because
all you want about
traffic
traffic.
talk is fucking boring. If you're talking about route talk and traffic talk, people are just like, what the fuck? I don't give a shit how you drove from here to there,
If
like
you're talking-
whatever.
hold on, if you're
All
talking-
other things not to talk about, health. Don't talk about your little ailments.
Politics,
like
for sure.
don't talk about your ailments because it's like, oh my God, I had to take a pill for this and that. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Old people love doing that, but it's fucking boring.
I got to
But don't
say,
do traffic talk. Don't do a whole show on traffic. That's horrible.
Don't show me
dude,
pictures of-
bullshot. If we were on terrestrial radio, we could do a show about how effed up traffic is at 5. We would take the 5 to 7 o'clock slot. None of us would have a life, of course, or family. But the 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock slot to everybody who's stuck in traffic here in South Florida and just rant about traffic. I swear to God. But we would have to be interspersed with like, hey, this is how effed up it is on the Dolphin right now. You know what we call the 836?
Hell.
We call it the 8 dirty dicks. You know what we call the 826? We call it the Crawl Meadow.
Yeah.
You know what I call Coral Way? The geriatric highway. You ever notice there's a lot of old people on fucking Coral Way going 2 miles per hour?
Not only that, they jump out.
That was my
That
was my grandma.
Funny enough, one of the first. What was it? A blog? Stuck on the Palmetto. Wasn't that a blog? That was-
Yeah, there was
Stuck on the
yeah.
Palmetto was one of the first Miami blogs.
Yeah, it was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on, boys.
But wait, hold on. Let's reiterate.
Oh, wait.
Just do not impede traffic in Miami. If you're not impeding traffic, you're doing a good job. So
I
keep
like
that,
that.
in mind. Oh, and another one is don't No, you want to turn your blinker on before you hit the brakes. Like you're going to slow down and turn. Just make sure the blinker's on before the brakes.
I think
Dude.
don't impede traffic is a good
dude, I don't ever use a blinker.
Well, yeah, because you're giving your move, and then someone speeds up. I get it.
I never use a blinker.
And
my Jersey buddy's like,
I hate you guys. I hate you guys so much.
No,
every once in a while I use it, and he's like, "What's that clicking noise?"
Yeah.
Sorry, Rafa.
Well, the blinker's a tricky one because sometimes you put it and then the fucker speeds up, and that's no good.
Of course, man. You can't let them know what you're gonna do.
Yeah. I feel you, but still, I mean, if you're gonna use your blinkers like a good Samaritan, just put them on before you hit the brakes.
All right, root talk.
Straighten us out.
Yeah.
Straighten us out. We're getting all over the place
Let's
here.
get to the end of the show here.
That was my only
Are you
objective
kidding?
today.
We're just getting started.
Let's talk about traffic in Miami because if everybody plays by the rules, traffic will be better.
And it's never, ever going
rule.
to happen. And I'm going to make sure I'm the first one not doing it.
I was going to say, I just want to be the only one doing the illegal shit, but not everybody. It can't,
Bro.
can't be all of us. It can be two of us.
Yeah,
maybe.
you monsters. Okay. Openings and closings. I got 2 for you. I think 2. Really,
I've actually
it's kind of a strip of.
boned up and I've got something.
Oh, really?
What do we
Not
talk-
calendar. Openings and closings.
I got 2.
Oh, okay. So I was gonna say on Northeast Second, north of the Design District, Buena Vista Deli closed.
Yeah, no, they didn't close. They moved.
Oh, they moved.
They moved to Midtown.
That is good to know because they had a $20 bottle of wine, which is unheard of at a restaurant. So
and they had a really
Was it part gasoline? I don't know.
no, it's actually not bad.
They had a really good chicken curry, and I recommend anybody who's interested in a European style chicken curry. It's not your traditional Indian chicken curry, but a French style Indian curry or a chicken curry. Go to the new Buena Vista, which is in Midtown now instead of Buena Vista.
Where is it exactly?
I could probably look it up, but it's most likely in Midtown, which is a 4-block radius of commercial property.
In the shops around Midtown?
I mean, let's find out.
Nah, I mean, okay, you check that. And then a couple other little places there, north of Mandolin, south of, I don't know, whatever, 50th.
One of the owners of we talked about this a while ago, but it's finally come real, is one of the owners of the corner opened a pizza joint.
No way.
And it's next to that club or bar
It's
that I've never been to.
It's inside 1306, the little bar,
Right.
slash,
There you go.
club, I guess you could
They're
call
finally open, and they're very good.
it. Really?
They're
So I saw the pizza oven because I went to an event in
the one
space.
with the mosaic on it.
Yes, exactly. It looks very good.
It is very good.
New pizza. One of the things I wanted to do on this show that we haven't done and I haven't really told you about because
We
it
should
sounds
add
like
a segment
mission.
about food, man.
Well, obviously, I have openings and closings, which usually is restaurants, right?
We should have crunch and munch, right?
But one of the things I want to do is go around town and try all the best pizzas.
That's funny
Oh
'cause
no, this guy went and did it, Manolis. I got to give him a shout out. He's one of the owners of the corner bar,
Okay.
and they did very well. They've done very well, and he used his
very
dough.
well on a pizza, on making a pizza. Or
No,
very
no,
well-
wait.
No, they did very well
on the bar.
On the
in the
corner.
bar.
But now
And
they opened a pizza
he and
place.
his old lady, or him and his old lady, I don't know. They went to Napoli, and they learned the Napoleon style of making pizza. And he actually bought himself and shipped from Italy a pizza oven, and they paid extra dough to have it mosaicked in the traditional style and installed.
Well, that's beautiful and all, but what I'm saying is that us on the show need to go to all the fucking pizza places that are worth a shit in this city, and then come back to the show and say this was good pizza and this was not so good pizza.
That's a great idea. Count me out.
Really?
Do you remember
Bring
when-
the kids. We can fucking have a little pizza party somewhere.
Do you
we don't have to go all on the same day.
Do you remember when we did that for the tacos? Were you with us? When
No, I didn't do that.
We did a taco tour of Little Havana because there's about 6 joints, and then we ventured north of Little Havana to a couple Honduran style tacos, which is a little different. But in the same vein,
Hondurans make tacos.
well, I guess it's like a baleada. No,
Baleada,
a
really.
baleada, or
Yeah.
what's the other one that we talked about?
Pupusa.
Pupusa, yeah. That's not
Pupusa.
really a taco.
So wait.
It's more of a burrito.
Now that you did this, what is your little Havana taco
Well-
numero uno?
Well,
Quick.
Funny enough, there's a place, a little hole in the wall called I love Mexico, or Yo quiero Mexico, or something like that. And it was a Michoacan style taco, which are very small and very simple and straightforward, and just bistec and a couple cilantro leaves and a sauce, and that's what we established was the best deal, bang for the buck, I guess.
Michoacan.
Michoacan, yeah.
That's code for me and the old lady for we're going to go upstairs and get it on. But boys are playing video games.
That place has since
Michoacan, meet you acá.
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
And have a taco after.
It's also a region.
You know where I went is the Miami River Cafe, the Mexican place right on the other side, right on the south side of the river.
Yes,
not bad, not great, but not. It's actually nice to sit there and cheap if you want to have a taco.
I didn't do that on the taco tour, but we did that not too long ago, and it was empty and not that great of a night, but the quality was there.
Okay, so we need to do a taco tour and we need to do a pizza tour, or at least. We don't have to do them all in the same day.
I don't know the name of the pizza joint that Manolis from the corner started.
I don't either. It's at 1306.
But I went there about...
on North Miami Avenue and 14th or 13th Street.
Right. It's north of the 836.
Yeah.
It's north of the 190 or the 195 interchange. And I went there about 3 months ago when they were still just test firing the oven. Man, those pizzas were good.
Yeah.
So wait.
Oh, it's killer. I mean, you're gonna pay for a gourmet pizza, but it's good.
Can we talk about what sort of radius of town we're talking about for the pizza joint?
Oh, I will go. I'll take the whole county if you tell me there's a really good pizza out west or something.
I mean,
no problem. If you tell me there's a great pizza,
what's that place
at the county line at the Everglades county line, I'll go there and it better be good.
Yeah. Well, let the callers call in.
The one out in Seminole County.
No, I mean,
yeah.
There's a pizza joint by the Anderson, which is really good. East Side
East Side is good, especially late night. It's definitely better than Cazzola's.
Yeah,
Cazzola's is.
Sorry.
I mean, I know people love it, but it's only good at 3 a.m.
People love that
It's so doughy. It's so doughy.
What's good is that little
for people who were like.
For people who love pizza, that's not a good pizza, man.
No,
Do you guys ever watch One Bite pizza reviews? Probably not.
Oh no, Miami. Nothing's going on in Miami style scene. Cassola's is old Miami.
Yeah,
and I think it's going to be eclipsed by people like Manolis and people like other people who are going to bring real style Napoleon or New York style.
Well, you still need a slice late night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. And
but East Side's got you, and it's way better than a Cazzola's.
Yeah, no, Cazzola's was a staple for many years, and they'll survive on that for a long time to come.
It's giant.
They
pizza.
will because of reputation. But
what about the slice and the Coke kind of thing? Because that's what East Side offers, and there's few other places that I don't really know. I mean, the Harry's and all these places have pies.
Harry's can go to Harry's, bro.
No, I know, but what about the slice? Where's the slice at? I want the slice and the Coke.
Lucali on the beach. Have
That's
you guys
not a slice
been
and a
there?
Coke.
No, it's definitely not a slice and a Coke.
I'm sure it's not
it's a good pizza,
politically correct, but
the 01 Visa 01.
No,
that one's not
Pizza
bad.
Rustica.
Hold on a second. We got a caller here.
Oh no way!
We got a caller on the air. Hello, caller. What's your? Hold on. Can you?
Is that Anna?
Yeah, can we hear?
Yeah, you gotta jam the.
Anna's FOMO.
Okay, say again.
Well, Benny called me at 9, but I was at a dinner.
Okay.
How are you guys live still? It's 11:22.
So we're waiting for you to call us.
No.
We miss you, baby.
We got locked out of the studio, and we only started at 10. So
Jesus Christ! And Benny's allowed to be out this late? I'm sorry, Art Handler's allowed to be out this late?
I want to tell you that I've been told forever to bring one caller into the show, and you, my dear, are the first. And not only do we miss you, we love you, and I got to thank you for being the first caller on this show.
Am I the first caller on the show?
Yes, do something other than being awesome, fart or burp or something.
What's the conversation? I'll get into it. What is it? What's the conversation?
Well, we've devolved into pizza in Miami.
So we were doing openings and closings, and now we're doing pizza.
I'm the pizza queen of Miami, though.
What's number one, Anna?
Lucali.
Oh.
We just brought that up.
What's the number one slice?
Oh, there's not that many slice places except for what's it called? East whatever.
East side.
East side.
East side. No, but there's one pizza I have not tried that's very Miami. It's Frankie's. I've never gone there.
Never even heard of it.
Spankies.
Frankie's is a square slice in like Kendall or some shit like that. And I've never been there, but I've been to pretty much every other pizza place in Miami.
Have you ever been to Sir Pizza?
I've been to Sir Pizza.
I don't care what piece you like, darling. You sound great on the radio right now, and we have been dying to figure out, Rafa and I, how to get phone calls on the air. And and you've done it. You've broken through the fourth wall here.
I broke the puzzle. What's the saying? I broke the code.
That's the laugh we've been looking for. I hope somebody's recording that.
Wait, who's the third person? Is it Andy Blanco?
Dude, it's Blue.
I don't know who this guy is.
It's Blue.
It's some dude with a beard.
Why are you dropping me my name, dude?
Bro, Rafa drops shit all the time.
Everybody wants to be anonymous on
It's only
here.
cool to be incognito, Anna.
I'm surprised. So you made it on there, huh?
I've waited about, I think, 3 years for the invite, and I got it like a month ago, and I wasn't available, and then I got another invite tonight, and I'm super stoked.
There you go. I'm also surprised you're allowed to be out this late. 2 minutes. I'm surprised.
I get a hall pass when Rafa's involved.
Oh, that's why.
Man, we miss you.
Slow night if I'm still talking to you guys.
All right, Anna. I was about to cut you off because you guys are just like
that's all I got.
reminiscing.
Yeah.
You should be here.
You guys are just reminiscing over here. I don't need to reminisce.
And all night, this guy's been he's been hard on us, man.
You should be here if you want to be here.
Oh, well, I guess I didn't want to be there that bad.
Yeah, that's okay. Stay home.
Okay, we're gonna wrap up the show. Thank you for the call. Anna.
Hey, we miss you, Anna.
I miss you guys. Kiss.
Big kiss. Bye.
Mwah.
Bye.
We don't really know if this
Hey.
is legal or not, so I just go by us.
That was
Yeah.
our first call.
Yeah, that's the first call. That's how I would have run a call, exactly just like
course.
that. It's not perfect, but you do what you can do.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move
absolutely.
on.
Anna.
It's she's not even listening. She called me just to call me for something else. It has nothing to do with
Oh,
the radio.
sorry.
Yeah.
Anna, fuck off. We miss you, baby.
So it's Wednesday, May 22nd, 2019. This is Nothing's Going On in Miami. You're listening to Jolt Radio, episode 10. We're wrapping up here. Let me tell you the calendar. I only have events for tomorrow. I think you said you had maybe one event, but I have only events. I think they're all tomorrow.
I got
Jesus Christ, man.
I got some events.
I don't like that, okay? Tighten up. Tomorrow, Thursday, May 22nd? No, I have everything wrong here.
Tomorrow's 23rd.
Tomorrow, May 23rd, Dracula, amazing band.
Yeah, they were interviewed on NPR.
Yeah, big. They were big. They did on, what is it? National Propaganda Radio. Luna Star Cafe in North Miami. They are playing tomorrow. Glexus Novoa has a opening at the Freedom Tower. He is very good at whatever he's doing. The Freedom Tower space is also very interesting.
I hung out with him on a boat with you some years ago.
Yeah. Look this guy up. Glexus Novoa. Okay? At the Freedom Tower tomorrow, Thursday, May 23rd. Reframe Miami Beach at 737 Lincoln Road. This is something I wanted to talk about, but I didn't get into. Memorial Day weekend's coming. Miami Beach is having a crisis of things, and they have this reframe thing going on. You might want to check it out, what it's all about. 737 Lincoln Road, Thursday, May 23rd. And then Highlight and Donzi are playing. Highlight is a band that has a record release party coming out at 1306, where you can get this pizza that's so good.
Next door.
And I don't have the date written down, but I think it's next weekend. That would be the weekend of May 30th, around there. Check that out. Highlight is the band. Donzi is also playing on the bill. 1306 is the bar that also has the pizzas. And that's basically the show for you guys, unless Artie has something for us on the calendar, or what?
Two things.
Can I get some beer?
Yeah, absolutely.
Down the street at the bodega.
So tell me what the two things are. One thing is that Artie has to get me a beer, so I'm talking.
I'm sorry. I'm getting a beer for Rafa here. So, Saturday at the Art Center is the African step dancers.
Okay.
I think the show is sold out, but it's step dancers from Africa. I'm not sure what part of Africa it's from, but it's a show. It's family friendly, and they dance, and I don't know what step dancing is, but it's African step dancing.
Like
and then Friday,
Wait. At the African step dance, will they have a chance to meet the famous art handler from the Nothing's Going On
no,
show?
I won't be there.
Okay.
But also, then on Friday, at the Pembroke Pines City Center, they have an art gallery called the Frank Art Gallery, who is an excellent new gallery for the last 4 years, who does some really good local programming, brings a lot of local shows in. They partnered up with National Geographic, and they're bringing in a show called Into Africa. And yes, would you please? And there's a show called Into Africa, which is a play on Out of Africa, and it's like 75 something photographs of some spectacular imagery from Africa. And it's National Geographic. Is the show is from National Geographic, and it's hosted by the Frank Art Gallery.
Is it trans-African or is it specific?
I would imagine it's trans-African. I don't have those details, but it's not from one specific point, if that's what your definition is. And it's.
Did you just give an event that's outside of Miami? Because I got things going on in New York, Hardy. You know? But I'm not talking about them over here.
I got something.
I actually don't, but
they're South Florida.
So, okay, Andy has something for us. Blue's got something for us.
Hit me, Andy.
So today's the 22nd. Tomorrow is Thursday, the 23rd, and there's the Urbanism Summit being held in the Miami Design District, which is a kind of cool sort of platform for all the doers and go-getters of Miami, be them architects, council members.
So you want to hear something funny?
No.
I saw Ian's in that, right?
He is. Yeah.
Ian
the arborist.
I mentioned him on the first show on episode 1 because he was doing something at the time with this movie thing or this film festival thing that he was involved with. But what's funny is that so Andy, while he's looking up this event, he's scrolling through the pictures of the people who are going to be talking, right? And one of the guys, I'm not going to say his name, is the guy that I told you guys a couple episodes ago that was hitting on the chicks at the bar.
No way.
Yes.
I heard this.
He's in that list of photos that you're scrolling through. I'm not going to point him out, but he's in it. This guy was the guy who was really heavy-handed with all the chicks at the bar.
That's so funny.
I remember
Yeah.
that show.
I remember that show too. I listened to it.
And then I had to tell him, like, yo, back off because...
The white Jamaican.
Yeah, basically. That guy, exactly.
I remember Jamaica.
He's in that lineup there. And no. And
we're gonna go.
and I
one
just
by
think
one.
it's funny that you just pulled it up as you did.
Besides the fact that there's a creepy white Jamaican guy on the summit, there is a number of just doers of Miami that are going to be talking about stuff going on. And
You could also meet that guy. It would be really funny if you said, hey, I heard you're really rough with the ladies out there. So check that out. Urbanism Summit. There's so many things going on tomorrow. I think it's because it's Memorial Day weekend coming up and people are ready to go out or something like that.
the cusp of Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah. So any of these things appeal to you. You got Dracula at Luna Star Cafe. You got Glexis. Navoa is opening at Freedom Tower. You got Urbanism Summit in the Design District. You got Reframe Miami and Miami Beach. And then next week you got Highlight and Donzi at 1306. Check those things out. This is the end of the show. It's over. I hope we've said everything because we have talked a lot of nyeh, nyeh, nyeh.
Do not impede traffic. That's all I want.
I think that's going to be the title of the show for sure. Do not impede traffic. The one rule.
Yeah.
The golden rule.
I'll do my best.
The golden rule of traffic. Do not in Miami. If everybody,
I can drive like shit, but I will not impede traffic.
do not
That much I
impede
promise.
traffic.
That much I promise to the people of this
Don't.
good city.
If somebody behind you needs to get by,
Don't
if
be
he's
the-
going faster than you, I don't care if he's going faster than the speed limit. Just let him by. It's not your shit. Don't impede traffic.
Think about it. If the guy's gonna go fast, you might as well let him go fast in the left lane, because if he starts scoring hard right again, 3 lanes to the right, 4 lanes back to the left, that's more dangerous than just letting him go by. So if there's a guy going fast behind you, don't impede. You go to the
Just
right.
let him do it.
Go.
I like it.
That's my voice tonight.
All right.
Is this how we're going out?
Yeah, this is how we're going out, and I'm ready to go out
And
too.
I don't like to cuss, but for fuck's sake.
It's a PSA, bro.
What do you have for us?
You want a joke?
Did you like loosen your button on your shirt there?
It's getting late.
There's some magic in this city. Hey, Miami, we love you. Have a good night.
All right, thanks guys. Thanks for listening. Check us out on iTunes. Thank you, Jolt Radio, and thank you, Mr. Blue Andy, for coming on the show.
was a pleasure
Much
and an
appreciated. See you guys in 2 weeks. Good night.